In 1954, a man with a lawnmower and a free Saturday could earn the equivalent of $47 an hour in today's money. No app, no algorithm, no five-star rating system deciding whether he ate that week. Meanwhile, the average American side hustler today makes $11.50 delivering someone else's groceries in their own car, burning their own gas. Number 14 on this list required nothing but a kitchen table, and people are quietly making six figures doing it right now. Number 7 was so profitable the government tried to regulate it out of existence. These 20 side hustles built the American middle class, and most of them still work better than anything Silicon Valley has invented since. Before we start, hit subscribe, because this list might actually change how you make money. Number 20. Knife and scissor sharpening. The sharpening man walked neighborhoods with a grinding wheel strapped to a bicycle frame or mounted on a small cart. He would ring a bell or blow a whistle, and housewives came out carrying dull kitchen knives, pinking shears, and garden tools. In 1955, he charged about 25 cents per knife, roughly $2.70 in today's money. A good sharpener could do 12 knives in an hour, clearing over $30 an hour, adjusted for inflation. The whole setup cost maybe $15, a second-hand wheel and some rags. No storefront, no insurance paperwork, no website. He worked when he wanted and walked home when he was done. Today, professional knife sharpening services charge between $5 and $8 per blade, and mobile sharpeners working farmers markets and restaurant circuits report earning between $50 and $75 an hour. The equipment has barely changed: a good whetstone, a belt grinder, and a van. The demand never disappeared. It just got buried under a mountain of cheap disposable knives from big box stores. But chefs know, butchers know, and the sharpening man is making a quiet comeback in cities where people have remembered that a sharp knife is worth more than a new one. Number 19. Upholstery and furniture repair. Before particle board and fast furniture, Americans bought pieces meant to last decades. When the springs sagged or the fabric tore, they called the upholstery man. He worked from a garage or a basement workshop, and in 1952 he charged about $8 to reupholster a dining chair, roughly $90 today. A full sofa cost about $40 then, close to $450 now. The work was slow and physical, but a skilled upholsterer working alone could clear $600 a week in today's money. The tools were simple: a tack hammer, a webbing stretcher, curved needles, and bolts of fabric bought wholesale. No degree required, most learned from a relative or apprenticed for a summer. Today, custom upholstery shops charge between $800 and $3,000 to reupholster a sofa. Independent upholsterers with a workshop and a social media page are booked out months in advance. The fast furniture boom created its own backlash. People spent $2,000 on a couch that fell apart in 3 years, and now they want the old one in the attic rebuilt. The 1950s upholstery man would recognize every tool in a modern shop. The craft barely changed. Only the prices went up. Number 18. EGG roots. Backyard chickens were not a lifestyle trend in the 1950s. They were income. Families kept flocks of 20 to 50 hens and sold eggs door to door on a weekly route, the same way a milkman delivered bottles. A dozen eggs sold for about 40 cents in 1955, roughly $4.30 today. A family with 40 productive hens could clear between $15 and $20 a week in egg money, which adjusted for inflation meant over $150 a week from birds that fed themselves on scraps and bugs. The startup cost was almost nothing. A few dollars for chicks, scrap lumber for a coop, and a basket to carry the product. Egg root families built loyal customer bases that lasted years. Mrs. Patterson always wanted her eggs on Tuesday. The Hendersons wanted brown shells only. That personal relationship was the business model. Today, pasture-raised eggs sell for $6 to $9 a dozen at farmers markets. Small flock owners with 50 hens and a local following report clearing over $300 a week. The infrastructure is identical. Chickens, a coop, and a root. The 1950s model never stopped working. We just convinced ourselves we needed a warehouse and a barcode to sell food. Number 17, watch repair. Every man wore a watch in 1955, and every watch eventually needed fixing. The neighborhood watchmaker worked from a tiny shop or a corner of the jewelry store, hunched over a bench with a loop screwed into one eye. A basic cleaning and adjustment cost about $3 then, over $32 today. A mainspring replacement cost $5, about $54 adjusted. A good watchmaker could service 6 to 8 watches a day, clearing between $190 and $430 in today's money for a 6-hour workday. The tools fit in a single drawer. Tweezers, screwdrivers smaller than toothpicks, and a parts catalog. Most watchmakers learn through correspondence courses advertised in the back of Popular Mechanics. Today, with the vintage watch market exploding, independent watchmakers charge between $150 and $500 for a full service. Rolex-certified technicians command even more. The irony is brutal. The quartz revolution of the 1970s nearly killed the trade. Now, mechanical watches are status symbols, and there are not enough trained hands to fix them. Watchmaking schools have year-long wait lists. The 1950s side hustler who learned from a mail-order kit would be printing money today. Number 16, roadside produce stands. A card table, a hand-painted sign, and whatever the garden produced that morning. That was the entire business plan. In 1953, a family with a quarter-acre vegetable garden and a spot near a county road could sell tomatoes at 10 cents a pound, sweet corn at 25 cents a dozen, and watermelons for 35 cents each. Adjusted for inflation, that is over $1 a pound for tomatoes, $2.70 for corn, and nearly $4 per melon. A productive summer could bring in $300, about $3,200 in today's money, with almost zero overhead. The land was already there. The seeds cost pennies. The labor was the family. No permit, no sales tax form, no food handler certification. Just produce on a table and a coffee can for cash. Today, the model has not just survived, it has scaled. Roadside Farm stands in the Northeast and Midwest, gross between $20,000 and $60,000 in a summer season. The secret families in the 1950s already knew is that people will always pay more to buy food from a person than from a shelf. First pattern break. Here is where the list gets interesting, because the next few entries are not just forgotten side hustles. They are entire economies that got swallowed by corporations, and the people doing them today are making more than their 1950s counterparts ever dreamed. Number 15, handyman services. The neighborhood handyman was not licensed, bonded, or insured. He was just the guy on the block who could fix anything, and everyone knew his name. Leaky faucet, stuck window, broken porch step. He handled it all for about $2 an hour in 1955, roughly $22 today. He worked evenings and weekends around his factory job, picking up 10 to 15 hours a week of side work. That was an extra $200 to $330 a week in today's money, on top of his regular paycheck. His toolbox cost maybe $30 total. No truck lettering, no Yelp profile, no dispatching software. Word of mouth was the algorithm. Today, independent handymen charge between $50 and $100 an hour in most metro areas. Those who specialize in small carpentry, tile work, or drywall make even more. Home Depot killed the local hardware store, but it created a generation of homeowners who cannot hang a shelf. The demand for someone who simply knows how to fix things has never been higher. The 1950s handyman would weep at today's rates and laugh at today's competition. Number 14, baking and cake decorating. She was not a baker. She was a housewife who made better cakes than the bakery, and the whole neighborhood knew it. Wedding cakes, birthday cakes, church social desserts, holiday cookie trays. In 1956, a decorated 2-tier cake sold for about $8, roughly $87 today. A busy cake lady could fill 3 to 5 orders a week working from her kitchen, clearing between $260 and $435 a week in today's money. The startup cost was flour, sugar, butter, and a few decorating tips from the Wilton catalog. No commercial kitchen, no business license, no health department inspection, just talent and a telephone. Her order book was a spiral notebook, and her marketing was a single cake at the church potluck. Today, custom cake artists charge between $300 and $800 for a wedding cake and $75 to $200 for a birthday cake. Home bakers operating under cottage food laws, now legal in most states, report annual revenues between $20,000 and $80,000. Instagram replaced the church potluck, but the model is identical. One person, one kitchen, and a reputation built on buttercream. Number 13. Television repair. In 1955, a television set cost about $200, which is over $2,000 today. When it broke, and they broke constantly, you did not throw it out. You called the television repairman. He arrived with a tube tester and a case full of vacuum tubes, diagnosed the problem in 15 minutes, and charged between $5 and $10 for the visit, plus parts. Adjusted for inflation, that is $54 to $108 per house call. A busy repairman hitting 6 to 8 houses a day cleared between $325 and $860 daily in today's money. He learned electronics from military training or a 6-month vocational course. The tubes were bought wholesale for pennies and marked up 300%. When transistors replaced vacuum tubes and televisions got cheaper, the trade collapsed. But here is the twist. The same skill set now pays between $60 and $120 an hour for independent technicians repairing commercial audio-visual systems, medical equipment, and industrial controls. The television repairman did not disappear. He evolved. Nearly every middle-class home had a piano in the 1950s, and every piano needed tuning twice a year. The piano tuner carried a tuning lever, a set of mutes, and an ear trained by years of practice. He charged about $8 per tuning in 1955, roughly $87 today. A tuner who booked 4 appointments a day, working 5 days a week, cleared about $348 per day in today's money. Many worked only 3 or 4 days a week and still earned a comfortable living. The tools cost under $20 total. Training was an apprenticeship, often informal, lasting about 2 years. No degree, no certification required, though some got one. Today, piano tuners charge between $100 and $200 per tuning. The number of pianos in American homes has declined, but the number of qualified tuners has declined faster. Supply and demand did what it always does. The survivors charge premium rates and stay booked solid. The 1950s tuner walking door to door with his leather case would recognize the job instantly. Only the FEE would surprise him. Second pattern break. Here is what most people miss about side hustles from the 1950s. They were not gig work. They were trades. A gig gives you a task. A trade gives you a skill that appreciates over time. Every entry on this list shares one trait. The person got better and more valuable with each year of experience. That is the opposite of driving for a rideshare app where your car depreciates and your hourly rate stays flat. The 1950s side hustler understood something we forgot. You do not rent out your time, you sell your skill. Number 11. Seamstress and alterations. She worked from the spare bedroom, a singer's sewing machine against the wall, and a dressmaker's form in the corner. Hemming a skirt cost about 75 cents in 1955, roughly $8 today. Taking in a suit jacket ran $2, about $22 adjusted. But the real money was in custom dressmaking. A woman who could copy a pattern from a department store window and sew it for half the price stayed busy year-round. A skilled seamstress clearing 15 to 20 jobs a week earned between $160 and $400 a week in today's money. Today, independent tailors and seamstresses in urban areas charge between $15 and $40 for basic alterations and $200 to $600 for custom garments. The fast fashion explosion created mountains of ill-fitting clothes that need adjustment, and the number of people who can actually sew has cratered. Bridal alterations alone can sustain a full-time business, with single gowns commanding $300 to $800 in alteration fees. Number 10. Lawn care and yard work. The kid with the push mower was the original side hustler, but in the 1950s, it was not just teenagers. Grown men ran lawn routes as serious second incomes. A standard yard cost about $2 to mow in 1955, roughly $22 today. A man with a rotary mower and hedge clippers could knock out 8 to 10 yards on a Saturday, clearing between $175 and $220 in today's money for one day's work. The equipment cost about $40 total. No trailer, no commercial mower, just a push mower, a rake, and shears. The route was the asset. Loyal customers who paid every week, April through October. Today, solo lawn care operators charge between $35 and $75 per yard. A full-time solo operator with 30 weekly accounts clears between $55,000 and $115,000 a year. The 1950s lawn man built the template that landscaping corporations now use, except he kept all the profit. Number 9. Photography. The family photographer shot weddings, portraits, graduations, and church directories. In 1956, a wedding package cost about $50, which is roughly $540 today. A portrait sitting ran about $5, approximately $54 adjusted. Film and processing added cost, but a photographer booking 2 weddings a month and 8 portrait sittings cleared between $250 and $400 per week in today's money. The camera cost maybe $150, and the darkroom fit in a bathroom. He learned from books, practice, and maybe a night class. Today, wedding photographers charge between $2,000 and $8,000 per event. Portrait sessions run $100 to $500. The equipment costs more, but the model is the same. One person, one camera, and a reputation. Number 8. Beekeeping and honey sales. A few hives in the backyard produced more than enough honey for the family, and the surplus sold fast. In 1955, a pound of local honey brought about 30 cents, roughly $3.25 today. A beekeeper with 10 hives could harvest 300 to 500 pounds of honey a year, grossing between $975 and $1,625 annually in today's money, with almost no recurring costs. The bees fed themselves. The equipment lasted decades. A smoker, a hive tool, a veil, and some jars. Today, local raw honey commands between $12 and $20 a pound at farmers markets. Beeswax candles and lip balm add margin. A small-scale beekeeper with 20 hives can gross between $15,000 and $30,000 a year in honey and hive products alone, before adding pollination service fees, which run between $50 and $200 per hive per contract. The bees do not care what century it is, they just work. Number 7. Tax preparation. In the 1950s, the tax code was already complicated enough that ordinary people needed help, and the neighborhood taxman filled the gap. He set up a folding table in his living room every February through April and charged about $3 per return, roughly $32 today. Working evenings and weekends during tax season, he could process 5 to 8 returns a night, clearing between $160 and $256 per evening in today's money. The entire season, roughly 60 working nights, could produce between $9,600 and $15,360 in today's money, all earned in 3 months while keeping his day job. His training was a correspondence course and a thorough reading of the IRS instruction booklet. H&R Block launched in 1955 specifically to industrialize what this man was doing in his living room. They saw how profitable it was and built a franchise empire on the same model. Today, independent tax preparers charge between $150 and $500 per return. The seasonal model still works exactly as it did 70 years ago. 3 months of intense work followed by 9 months of freedom. Third pattern break. Notice what is missing from this list so far. Algorithms, platforms, middlemen taking 30%. Every single one of these hustles put the worker in direct contact with the customer. No dispatch system, no surge pricing, no performance metrics controlled by a corporation in another state. The 1950s side hustler owned the relationship. That was the real asset. Number 6. Wallpaper hanging. Before paint became the default, wallpaper covered nearly every room in the American home. Hanging it was skilled work that most homeowners could not do themselves. A paper hanger charged about $15 a room in the mid-1950s, roughly $162 today. A fast worker could complete 2 rooms a day, clearing over $324 daily in today's money. The tools were a smoothing brush, a seam roller, a sharp blade, and a paste table. Total investment under $10. The trade was learned by working alongside an experienced hanger for a few months. Today, professional wallpaper installers charge between $300 and $800 per room. The craft nearly died when paint took over in the 1980s, but designer wallpaper has surged back. High-end installers working with luxury papers in upscale homes charge over $1,000 per room and cannot find enough trained help. Number 5. Small engine repair. Every garage on every block had a lawnmower, a snowblower, or an outboard motor that would not start. The small engine man fixed them all. In 1955, a carburetor cleaning cost about $2, roughly $22 today. A full engine rebuild on a lawnmower ran about $10, approximately $108 adjusted. Working from his own garage with a basic set of wrenches and a repair manual, a capable mechanic could service 3 to 5 engines a day, clearing between $65 and $540 daily in today's money, depending on the complexity. Today, small engine repair shops charge between $75 and $200 for most jobs. The machines have gotten more complicated, but the shortage of people who can fix them has driven prices through the roof. Every spring, repair shops have 3-week backlogs of mowers waiting for service. The 1950s garage mechanic would need to learn about modern fuel injection, but the fundamental skill, diagnosing why an engine will not run, has not changed in 70 years. Number 4. House painting. 2 men, 2 ladders, and a weekend. That was the house painting business in the 1950s. A full exterior paint job ran about $150 in 1955, roughly $1,620 today. Interior rooms cost between $20 and $40 each, between $216 and $432 adjusted. A 2-man crew working weekends could complete 1 exterior or 6 to 8 interior rooms, clearing between $800 and $1,600 per weekend in today's money. The paint cost about $4 a gallon. Brushes and ladders totaled maybe $30. Most painters learned on the job, spending a summer working for an established crew before going independent. Today, professional painters charge between $3,000 and $6,000 for a full exterior and between $300 and $800 per room for interiors. The tools have not changed. Brush, roller, tape, drop cloth. The paint got better and more expensive, but the labor model is identical, and the profit margins would make a 1950s painter grin. Number 3. Furniture refinishing. When a dining table got scratched or a dresser looked tired, nobody hauled it to the curb. They took it to the refinisher. Working from a garage or a shed with ventilation, the refinisher stripped old varnish, sanded the wood smooth, and applied new stain and lacquer. In 1956, refinishing a dining table cost about $25, roughly $270 today. A dresser ran about $15, approximately $162 adjusted. A steady refinisher completing 3 pound to 4 pieces a week cleared between $486 and $1,080 weekly in today's money. The chemicals cost a few dollars per job. The rest was labor and skill. Today, furniture refinishing has exploded. Independent refinishers charge between $300 and $1,200 per piece. The mid-century modern furniture craze means people are paying premium prices to restore pieces their parents nearly threw away. A skilled refinisher with a TikTok following and a workshop can gross six figures restoring furniture that cost $10 at an estate sale. The piano teacher down the street charged $1 per half-hour lesson in 1955, roughly $10.80 in today's money. She taught 12 to 15 students a week, working afternoons after school, clearing between $130 and $162 a week in today's money. Math tutors, reading specialists, and language coaches charged similar rates. The classroom was the dining room table. The credential was knowledge and patience. No teaching certificate required. No platform taking a cut. Parents paid in cash or sometimes in baked goods. Today, private tutors charge between $40 and $150 per hour depending on subject and location. SAT prep tutors in competitive markets command $200 to $300 per hour. Music teachers with a private studio charge between $60 and $120 per hour. The dining room table has been replaced by Zoom, which means one tutor can now serve students across time zones. The 1950s model scaled by adding students. The modern model scales by removing geography. Number 1. Appliance repair. The refrigerator cost $400 in 1955, and it is over $4,300 today. The washing machine was $300, about $3,240 adjusted. When these machines broke and they were built to be repaired rather than replaced, the appliance repairman was the most valuable tradesman on the block. A service call cost about $5, roughly $54 today. Parts and labor for a typical repair ran between $10 and $25, approximately $108 to $270 adjusted. A repairman completing 4 to 5 calls a day cleared between $430 and $1,350 daily in today's money. He drove a panel van stocked with belts, motors, thermostats, and switches, and he could diagnose most problems by sound alone. The appliance companies designed their products to be fixed, publishing full repair manuals and selling parts at cost because they wanted these machines to last. Today, independent appliance repair technicians charge between $100 and $300 per service call. The skilled ones who work on both vintage and modern machines are booked weeks in advance. Manufacturers now design products to be difficult to repair, pushing consumers toward replacement. But the repairman persists. Refrigerators still break, washers still flood, and somebody has to fix them. Here is what this list keeps proving. The most profitable side hustles are not new. They are old skills we abandoned because corporations convinced us that convenience was better than competence. Every entry shares 3 things: low startup cost, direct customer relationships, and a skill that gets more valuable with time. Your grandfather did not need an app to find work. He needed a reputation. Try one. Pick the entry that fits your hands. Learn the skill. Build the route. Because the gig economy wants to rent your time, but a trade lets you own it.